you're doing what everybody else is doing. You're watching the news, and it's honestly doom and gloom whenever it comes to anything about the real estate market. So if you're looking to sell your house here locally or even out of state, I want you to know that I understand it produces a lot of anxiety. Even whenever you're looking to buy a house, you're like, hey, is my house going to hold its value over the next 3, 5, 10 years? In this video, we're going to be looking at macro reports about just the United States, what's happening in the real estate world for second quarter 2025, and then a little bit of projections for this coming year. Then we're going to go regional, what's happening here in the Southeast. So Carolinas, Georgia, maybe a little bit of Florida. Then we're going to go hyper local. This is what you are here for. You want to know what is going on in Greenville, South Carolina, in the upstate, and we're going to give you that information here. So before we get into it, if you are looking to buy or sell homes here in the upstate, we would love to help. We run a real estate team. We're kind of really good at what we do. We would love to chat with you, and it's no cost, it's no pressure. We just like to have really good real estate conversations. 46% of all listings on the market right now are overpriced. Let that sink in for a minute. 46%. That is a ton of opportunity, both for sellers and for buyers. And I'm going to tell you that, but you're going to have to stick with me through it. So let's get into it. First, let's start at that macro level, the United States. This is what most news companies are reporting on, and this is what you guys are looking at, especially if you're looking specifically for relocating. The country's real estate market has slowed down throughout second quarter 2025. Now, what we do know is what goes down does come back up, so I'm not terribly worried. And the biggest thing that we hear whenever we're like, well, why is the market slowing down? Well, we have higher than what we're used to interest rates. We are not in the COVID era of 2021 to 2022 of 3 and 4% interest rates. If we ever see that again, I would be a little bit surprised. But what it's doing is accounting for just everybody from Florida, for example, has finally decided, you know what, Florida's not for me, and it's time to half back and come up here to the upstate. We're going to talk about that too in a second. But what it's happening is it's actually causing a large inventory shift in the real estate market. And let's just focus in on Florida. And no shade on you guys that are in Florida, moving from Florida. I get it. You moved there, you loved it. Maybe you don't, or maybe you love it anymore. Maybe you do love it still, and it's just too many people. I hear that a lot. What has happened is we have had an increase of building, new construction over the entire country. Because if you go back to the housing crisis, when everybody was losing their houses and we had a lot of foreclosures, etc., builders also went into bankruptcy, which means they stopped building houses, and we are still feeling the effects of that. So today, the United States needs to build somewhere between 1 to 1.4 million homes a year to keep up with demand. And we have just, honestly, the last 2 or 3 years, actually, as a nation, been building what we're supposed to. Maybe the not so great thing is I think it's been building a ton of homes in Florida, or a ton of homes out west, or some of these areas that have just grown up and become more populated than what we are normally used to. People don't like that anymore, so they're migrating. So there's multiple different resources online that you can look at. In my world, in Keller Williams, we have different migration maps that we can use. Even whenever you see those top 10 places to move or top 10 places that are growing, Greenville, South Carolina pops up on quite a few of them, and sometimes goes even more micro and goes into Travelers Rest is a great place to live, or Greer, or Spartanburg has even showed up on a few of those lists. But here's what you need to know about the regional market. The entire country is not the same. So you have the Florida market. That last numbers we looked at were actually starting to depreciate. That means that instead of gaining value, they are losing value. We're seeing that as about -1.4%. That's a big deal, especially for those that bought their house within the last 2-3 years. That's a hard pill to swallow whenever you have to take a hit on your house. And nobody likes bringing money to the table. I know it. I've had the conversations. But here's the other thing. If you go up to like the Midwest, I have clients that are moving from Ohio, Chicago. Homes are still selling very quickly. Multiple offers, over list price. So you guys, my Midwesterners, your housing market's all right. Same thing out west, Arizona, California, New Mexico, Washington State. Those are a lot of the states that pop up for us as they're relocating this way throughout the country. Y'all's market is still moving pretty well too. Not as fast as the Midwest market. I've actually heard that the Midwest market is moving faster than a lot of other markets, but the Northeast and the Southeastern markets are slowing down. But as you get into some of these bigger cities, like they're always going to have a pretty fast market. But when we looked at numbers, just from a country standpoint, overall, we're still on pace for a great real estate year. Where do you live now? What is the real estate market like where you are? Because you never know. We have quite the audience here, and you guys can help each other in the comments. Maybe you live in the same area of Florida as somebody else who is thinking about selling, and you have experience with that. Or maybe you're selling your house like one of my clients currently up in the Columbus, Ohio area, and you're like, wow, like I'm thinking about that too. Let us know, because we help each other out, and that's what, honestly, whenever you guys relocate here, that's what makes this area so great, because we're kind and we help each other. There were about 1.4 million new construction homes that were authorized to get started just last year in 2024. Of those homes, we know that about 1.1 of those homes were actually completed, which means we know that there are homes that are still in process. That affects the real estate market, because all of a sudden our inventory numbers are rising because there is enough homes for first-time home buyers, new family formations. We know that the first-time home buyer age range right now is about 38 years old. And I don't say that to like give you more doom and gloom on this, but at the same time here, I need you to know that there is opportunity for you. And we'll get into this more as we go throughout the video. What is that opportunity? If you are looking to purchase your first home and you're like, my brother is in his mid to later 20s at this point. Actually, oh my goodness, he's in his early 30s. He's constantly saying he doesn't have opportunity. But here's what's cool. If houses are sitting on the market or housing is overpriced, let me know in the comments, what do you think you have the ability to do if a house is sat on the market for, I don't know, 30, 60, 90 plus days? Maybe you are just starting your research, or maybe you're planning a trip like next month. Here's what I know. I love getting things that I can like hold, paper, maps. I don't know, maybe some things that I can flip through like magazines. Reach out to the team, because we have a relocation packet that we would love to mail to you for free. And it has a lot of great information in it. It also allows you to go ahead and get connected to us. I had multiple people last week that reached out to us, and they're not looking to move for 2 years, maybe upwards of 5 years. Maybe it's just about 6 to 12 months. We have these conversations all the time. So reach out to us. Would love to chat through this. Scan the QR code somewhere here on the screen and make that request for the relocation packet, because we like to mail things to you. All right, so let's keep moving on. Let's go a little bit closer to Greenville, but not quite all the way yet. Let's just look at our regional statistics. So little bit faster. Whenever I look at our region, I am looking at Southeast. So South Carolina, North Carolina, a little bit into Georgia, and Florida is just, you are in the Southeast, but your market is so incredibly different than our markets here in the Carolinas or even in places around Georgia. Here's what I know. So let's say you're in the Columbia, South Carolina market, Charlotte, Charleston, Savannah, even Atlanta, Georgia. If you are in those markets and you're thinking about making the relocation here to the upstate because you're like, Greenville's awesome, why wouldn't I move there? Here's what I need you to know. Your market is slower. And that's not a bad thing for you as a seller. And this is going to follow through to my next point a little bit later in the video, is if you are a seller and you are going on in the market, the most important thing you can do as a seller is to price your house right. Now, how do you do that? There's some teamwork involved between you and your realtor that you choose to go on your market. And if you're in different areas of the country and you're like, Aubree, I don't have a realtor, I don't know anybody, I don't have any of those relationships, reach out to me. I have a network of people all across the country. I've been doing this for a little while, so I've got friends everywhere that I know do good business. And they're gonna be honest with you about pricing your home correctly. So what's the opportunity there? If you price your home correctly to move, and we know that 46% of all listings on the market right now are overpriced. If you don't overprice your home, you should sell, according to some of my graphs that I've got for the last quarter, you should sell in an average of about 9 days. Doesn't that sound nicer than being on the market for 3 to 6 months because you overpriced your home? Now, I hear you. I already hear the you're talking at your TV screen right now. Aubree, but what if my price, I put all of this work into my house. I put $50,000 into my backyard. I upgraded the kitchen we put in the pool. I hear you. And the most important thing you can do is price your home correctly. How you do that is you look at market data. If you are here locally and you are thinking about selling your house, do me a favor, reach out. I would love to give you a free market analysis on your house. It doesn't take too much time. I may have a bunch of questions for you, but just scan the QR code that we have here on the screen, or you can go to my website and send me a quick message. Would love to chat with you. We've done this for several local sellers, which is really great. And I can connect you to people that are outside of this market as well. Here's a quick story for you. There's a home in my market that is only about 10 minutes away from where I live, right outside of Travelers Rest. And it is gorgeous. I mean, the floor plan is awesome. It has 2 different masters, 1 level. The view out the back is to die for. Mountain views. It's unobstructed. You're not gonna miss any, there's nothing that's going to grow up in front of it. It was fantastic. And these sellers, they did a ton of work to the house. No joke. They redid the kitchen. The house is only about 2-3 years old. It has everything you could want, but they overpriced it by about $150,000. Guess what's happened? Every buyer that's come through the house has said, this looks really great. Love this, but I can't pay the price. So after 2 weeks on the market, lots of showings and an offer that I know came in significantly lower than their list price, they pulled their house off the market. Don't do that. I know you put a lot of work into it. Price your home correctly. That is your opportunity as a seller to sell quickly and to be able to actually accomplish your goal. And it doesn't matter where you are in the country, but specifically here regionally in the Carolinas, you've got to make sure you partner with a great realtor. Let me know if you need somebody. 2, you price your house right. And 3, if you are relocating to any of those other areas to buy, your opportunity there is that you get to negotiate. Wow, Imagine that. With that, you're looking to buy a house here in Greenville. Let's talk about the local market. Greenville is one of those places that when you look at our regional data, everybody else is definitely in a slowing down, not a great appreciating market. They still are a little bit, but here's the cool thing about Greenville. We are insulated. What do I mean by that? So one of the cool things about Greenville is it has had some really great leadership in the right seats at the right time. I don't know that many places can say that, they've got their crystal ball and so on. Greenville has done this well. Recently at the state of Greenville, it's a big meeting where they basically talk about master plan, what's happening, why things in the past have worked well. We actually had the mayor who came out and said, hey, look, here's why Greenville's economy is the way it is. They have focused on bringing not just like local community leaders and business owners, not just United States, not just, country leaders. They've looked at bringing global businesses into the Greenville, South Carolina area. BMW, Michelin, Fluor, GE, these companies, they service the entire world, and their headquarters is right here in Greenville. And that is something that insulates our economy. It means that just because one ends up going sideways, it doesn't mean that the others are going to go sideways. It doesn't throw our entire economy because everybody's going to lose their jobs. So that's what happened a lot during the housing crisis. That's why Greenville is such a great place for not only for people who, like, you're looking for a job, but also it's a great place to hold value and continues to grow. Now, I don't want you to hear me say that Greenville is overpopulating, because we definitely are not. We are growing and it is happening. So don't be surprised whenever you see new construction and a lot of houses on the market. But here's what I wanted to tell you first about our market. I will say that from just my personal experience, sellers are still living 2 years in the past with their pricing. COVID era pricing, they want what they want. They put all this time, effort, etc. into their homes, but really they need to come current, and buyers are living 6 months in the future. They're going, well, what's happening to the market? Is it going to crash? Are interest rates going to continue to come down? And here's the cool thing that I can tell you about the housing market right now. And I have graphs for you if you're visual and you want to see it. Right now we are on a trend line of home prices are above the trend line, meaning we hear people say it's not as affordable to buy a home. Well, here in Greenville, it actually isn't too off base. That's why a lot of people move here, because it is seen as affordable because of our housing prices. Right now, the average price point in the Greenville, South Carolina area is somewhere in the mid 300s, and it moves every so often, but we're about 340 to 360. That's average price. Just in comparison, the Greenville market being in that mid 300s, the entire country's average price point is over 400,000, 410 to be exact. So here's what I do want to make sure that we talk about: the opportunity. And this is what, as we're looking into the future, into 2026, my crystal ball doesn't always work, but whenever we're talking with the economists and we're going, okay, what's going to happen? What's going to happen here in Greenville? This is why I tell people, if you can do it right now, you really should. Because what happens if interest rates go down? Well, if interest rates go down, everybody starts buying again. If everybody starts buying again and we have a limited amount of inventory and there's a lot of people who want to buy this thing, what happens? Prices go up, which means that here locally, we're in a very healthy market. We aren't seeing distressed properties. We still see a lot of overpriced properties, but they are still selling. The opportunity here is the same as back whenever I was talking through our regional data. As a seller, I am going to be 110% honest with you from that first conversation when we agree to work together and you are selling your home. I would rather have that conversation with you about price the first time than have you sit on the market for 2 to 3 months and then we're like, Aubree, why is my house not selling? As a buyer though, you need to know that there are certain areas around here that they've got that it factor, okay? They have the walkability, they have the close by parks, close by grocery stores, doctor's office, etc. There are areas around here that do tend to move quickly and they stay really healthy. We're just going to continue to pick on Travelers Rest today. Travelers Rest market does move quickly when things are priced right. And for the most part, they are, at least from what I've seen. There's never a lot of inventory up in this area. But then you also have other areas of the upstate that we've got an area of Greer right now that is beautiful. It's up by Lake Robinson, and there is a ton of inventory, and everything is sitting. Same thing out in Easley. I've got a listing on the market right now, and there's 10 other listings on the market that look exactly like it. We're the lowest priced and it's still not selling. We go from the country to a regional look to a hyper local Greenville, and then our team will personally take you to a neighborhood level. So we recently had a couple that moved here from the Chicago area, and if you're watching, hi, that specifically told us about one neighborhood that they wanted to live in. And we started their search about 6 months ago. We sent out letters, we sent out email campaigns, we went all over social media, and we ended up finding the one house in the neighborhood that hit all of their criteria before it ever hit the market. That is our market. Some houses sit, some houses, they fly. But here's what you know. Greenville itself is going to be a great market. As you go out around Greenville, so into some of the areas that it's like 45 minutes outside of Greenville, Belton, Williamston, Pickens, Duncan, Inman, Lyman, those areas, it's not too terribly far out, but those markets are slower. So your opportunity there is if you are okay living a little bit further outside of Greenville, the market is going to allow you to find more house for your money. You're going to have more negotiation room. And here's what we're going to say really fast about negotiations before I let you guys go for the day. Negotiations, you have resale and you have new construction. There is so much new construction right now. It is a third of our market. So whenever you are looking through new construction, we did a video about this a couple of weeks ago where I went through and I gave you my honest opinion about the builders here in the upstate. Go watch it. There's something really cool in that video that you're not going to want to miss out on. But let me say this, builders are going to look real sexy whenever the market is slow. They're offering $20,000 in incentive money, closing costs, buying down your interest rate. They're going to say 4.99% interest rate. That's cool. How are you actually getting to that number though? Could you actually get a better rate or not have to pay as much for a house if you went to the same house floor plan that's only a year or two old? And maybe you could negotiate the price lower than that new construction. Maybe you could ask for closing costs, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 of that seller. Maybe you could actually get a better deal on the resale home than you could get with the new construction. But Aubree, it's brand new. I hear you, I know. But here's the thing. Whenever you live in it for a week, it's not going to be brand new anymore. So reach out to us, reach out to me, Christy, the other agents on the team, because we would love to be able to walk you through this and be your boots on the ground, the people here who actually are going to be honest with you about the housing market. And Greenville's awesome. So if you have watched this video and it helped you, give me a like, give me a comment, something like that. Let me know where you are or what you're looking for. And if you really like this video, you should go watch this other new construction video. So we'll catch you later. I hope this helped